Welcome to the Melanin Jelly Project Conversations, a podcast that celebrates diversity and representation in children's storytelling, entertainment, and edutainment. I am the host, Olunosen Louisa Ivaze. On this podcast, I chat with authors and creators of children's books, entertainment, and edutainment. This is also a collaboration with the Ottawa Black Book Club. Welcome, Amy Jensen, the author of CHUCKIE Says Goodbye. So Amy is an amazing person, and I would like to talk about how I met her. Met her. She was someone I remember when I was trying to go into self-publishing, I had reached out to, and I think I commented on the Facebook group and you responded, and then both of us started chatting. So yeah, so it's amazing to finally be seeing you. So Amy, I started this podcast as a way of, because I realized that we don't have enough podcasts that celebrate diversity and representation in children's storytelling. So that was why I started this. So when I came across your books, CHUCKIE, I think is it the CHUCKIE series? What's the series called?
Yes, CHUCKIE the Chocolate Lab book series.
Okay, when I came across it, I said, oh, this is interesting. It would be good to explore human relationships with their pets. So Amy, go ahead, tell me about yourself and what inspired you to start this series.
So I am a teacher. This is my 25th year of teaching. And I started at an elementary school level, and then about 10 years ago, I switched to middle school. So I can flip back and forth. I love little ones, but I really love middle school age too. And I'm a music teacher. So I used to do these little musicals with little ones, like the first and second graders. They would dress like bears, and they would do this like fairy Christmas something, and people wrote these like short musicals for kids. And someone said, well, we're doing this theme. Every grade gets a continent, and let's, what if you wrote musicals about each continent? And I thought, oh my gosh. I never wrote a musical, and this person's just suggesting this in front of everyone, like, write one about Africa, and then I did it, so I had these music books, and they had folk songs from different countries and different areas, and so I started researching, and I wrote these little, like, Europe's Amazing Race, or Asia's Got Talent, and I did a combo with Australia and Africa, like it was a tourism contest, like who could get people to go, travel to Australia or Africa. So it was really fun. And then I thought, maybe this writing thing, this is something I had always wanted to do, but never knew how to start. So I wrote a play and a musical with a friend named Landon Heimbach. And those were performed as, one was an elementary school assembly about bullying, and that's called What's Your Favorite Color? And then I did another, a comedy, Christmas comedy, called Guess Who's Coming to Christmas, which is like two families having to come together for the holidays with adult children, but like the man is like a blue collar worker and the woman is a widow, but she came for more money, and how the kids were so like completely different like lifestyles, and bringing them all together. So then I thought back to being a child and how much I always loved my pets, especially my dogs. So when I was little, I would draw pictures of my Cocker Spaniel and give them to my friends and just talk about them all the time. And then I had this dog, CHUCKIE, who was an amazing dog. He was a special dog. And we rescued him in 2009. He was 18 months old, and he just started to get all this attention online. So people just fell in love with his personality. He was just so funny and smart. And all of a sudden we had thousands of people following to see what he was going to do next. So these books are all about my real life, my real pets, and like things that actually happen.
Okay, that's amazing, because I grew up with pets too. We had three dogs. But I think it was the housekeeper who named the dogs. So he gave them very interesting names. So we had we had Jack, we had Billy, and then we had Hippopo. So I still don't know why he named that dog Hippopo, but I went, you know what? I'm working on a book now, and the pet's name is Hippopo.
I love it.
When Hippopo, it's an unusual name. So maybe it's from the song. So we had this song for the hippopotamus song, HIP for the hippopo. So maybe that's where he heard it from. I don't know. Yeah, but it's amazing how people bond with their pets. I appreciate the bond. How important do you think it is for us to tell stories that show the bond between humans and their pets? How important do you think it is?
When I was a kid, I was undiagnosed ADHD.
Okay.
I wasn't diagnosed until just a couple of years ago, but my whole life I was like, I can't remember things. People would get frustrated with me, like they'd ask me something. I would forget, almost immediately. I would forget what I had planned to do, so it was such a struggle. And I still, sometimes I go into the kitchen and there's something in the microwave that I heated up 10 minutes ago. There's this task and that task. And so I felt like I struggled to have strong friendships at school. People didn't understand me. I was like the eccentric, like the quirky kid, and I was bullied a lot. I felt like I was such a target for kids to just, make fun of me, the way I looked, the way I walked, the things that I was interested in. And one of the things I was always talking about was my dogs, because my dogs loved me unconditionally. They didn't care if my hair didn't look like the kids at school, or if I didn't have the right shoes or the right backpack like everyone else. They just loved me, so I always have felt this strong connection with animals, and I feel like I can understand them, and they accept me, for who I am.
Yeah, I like the fact that animals give you unconditional love. Yeah, that's what I noticed you experience with animals. The dog that lived longest with us, that was Jack. Jack was bought when I was born, and so we were same age. And by the time Jack was 10, its foot got caught in a trap actually. And yes, and it came home limping. I remember it came home limping that day. And so it wouldn't go out anymore. It would just stay at home. And then we got the vet. After some time, that foot got infected, and I think it had to be put down.
So sorry.
Yeah, I think it had to be put down. Yeah. So when I read this, a story about pet loss, and I think, was that the same thing that happened to Nestle? Was she put down, or she just passed away?
Yeah. So Nestle was getting sick, and I feel like she was a little over 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
And she was having issues with her legs. She was having issues with breathing. And at the time, we didn't know what laryngeal paralysis was, or it's actually called GOLP, geriatric onset laryngeal paralysis and polyneuropathy.
Okay.
And so I didn't know what that was. And her breathing was just very heavy. And once we realized afterwards, because CHUCKIE got the same disease like later on,
okay.
There's Facebook groups with people who have dogs that have this, and they were hugely helpful to us for what we could do, and there's a surgery that a dog can have that will help them. So we didn't know she had that. I also think maybe she had cancer or something. And so the vet came over because eating everything was a struggle for her, and we didn't want her to suffer.
Okay. And I noticed that I like the support the community gave you, because from the story here, I can see that towards where you said they brought flowers, they brought pictures, this page. So was this the community, the support you got from the dog community?
That, that was neighbors, that was relatives and friends. I had never had so much support when somebody I love had passed, like not even when a human, so when she was sick, people knew how much we loved her, and we don't have children, and so just people stopping by and dropping things off, it was such a huge help to us, because how it feels when you are just devastated, you don't even want to eat, you don't know what to do with yourselves, and then just the smallest acts of kindness make a huge difference.
Yeah, and the butterfly that landed on Dad's head.
Yeah.
It was almost like Nestle saying to you guys, it's okay, it's gonna be okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I have another butterfly story to tell you.
Okay.
That happened after she had passed. We'd gone on vacation with Chuckie, and it was very hot that summer, and so we were taking him to a creek so he could go swimming, and that's when that butterfly stayed with my husband for about 15 minutes, just kept landing on his hat or his shirt or his hand, and the next day we went back and that butterfly was waiting for us. It was so weird, and I got that really close-up picture.
Okay.
So then when I was just about to publish this book, and it was in January, I was at a pet expo, and there's all these different animals. People had skunks and pigs and tortoises, like all these different animals. And there was a butterfly tent, like pretty close to where we were set up. And it's near the end of the event, and I see a white butterfly like flutter by, and I almost started to cry, because we were in this humongous expo center with huge ceilings, and I thought, that butterfly is going to die in this building, like it's never going to be found, never going to be captured, it's too big, so I was just really sad about that. And about 2 minutes later, that butterfly came back and it landed right on my table in front of me.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so I was so happy, but also I had never picked up a butterfly. So thankfully my husband was there, and I said, can you help me? So he kind of scooped it up, and I was like holding it. And this man had just come up to my table. I didn't realize it was a friend of mine from college, because we were all masked.
Okay.
And I said, sir, I will be right back. I have to return this butterfly. So I go over, give it back to the people, and it didn't hit me right away. But about a week or so later, I was like, another butterfly found us in the winter time. Like, I can't ignore these signs, I really feel like that was her saying, I'm here,
Okay. And at the end of the book, you put up so this is Nestle.
Yes.
Okay. And then there are pictures of you said, in memory of our beloved furry pets.
So those were pictures people submitted. People who were pre-ordering the book could submit a photo to be included in the book of pets that they had lost. Okay.
And I like that at the end of the book, you had tips for dealing with the loss of a loved one. Yeah, which I think is very, very helpful, because number 9, you said be kind to yourself, which I feel is very important. Would you like to read the book to us, please?
Sure. I feel like I'm going to cry, so I'm sorry if I do that.
It's okay.
But yeah, so first here's the butterfly at the very beginning. So Chuckie says goodbye. Let's see if I can hold it. There we go. Hello, my name is Chuckie. I am a chocolate lab. My best friend was my sister, the best I ever had. Nestle was my sidekick. We tussled all the time. We went on walks, went swimming too. We loved to jump and climb. When someone was outside our house, I'd bark to let her know, and she would run right over to watch the people go. Oh, she was calm and gentle. With Bert, she played so well. I learned a lot from watching her, what stories she could tell. I remember how she teased me when I did something bad. She liked to rub it in my face if I made Daddy mad. One day I noticed Nestle was struggling up the stairs. Her legs were getting weaker. She'd fall if we weren't there. Sometimes Nestle made mistakes. I know it made her sad. But Mom and Dad would clean it up. It didn't make them mad. Mom and Dad and Bert and I all loved our girl so much. See? I'm starting to get already. We'd think of ways to cheer her up with hugs and treats and such. She had some trouble eating, so our parents helped her out. She got so much attention that sometimes I would pout. This is a hard page.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Daddy called a meeting. We all sat by her bed. Mom and Dad and Bert and I gathered round and said how much she meant to all of us and all the things we felt. My love for her just filled the room. We hugged her as we knelt. Mom and Dad told all our friends to come and say goodbye. She was so glad to see them, though sometimes they would cry. People brought us cakes and snacks, and some drew pictures too. Love was all around our home. It seemed each day it grew. Grieving made us tired, and we all took extra naps. Some days we just forgot to eat. Thank goodness for those snacks. All too soon the day had come for us to say goodbye. We had spent the day with Nestle, but the moments seemed to fly. I feel so sad I'm not myself. I don't know how to be. All I know right now is that my friend's not here with me.
Oh.
Mom, yeah. Mom and Dad knew I was sad and took me to the park. I went swimming in the creek. I played till almost dark. When I turned back from swimming, a butterfly was there. It landed right on Daddy's hand. It landed on his hair. Its presence made us happy. 'Twas such a nice surprise. Like Nestle came to visit, then took off to the skies. May our memories be a blessing, although we are apart. We won't forget the ones we love. We'll keep them in our heart. Thank you, Nestle, for being a very good girl.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. Do you have the plushies? I remember you made plushies, right? Did you
Yes.
make for this one?
Yes. So this is CHUCKIE. Oh, this is CHUCKIE, and this is Nestle. So she has the little like purple bandana.
Mm-hmm.
And now we also have our Bernie, the Black Lab plushie. He's our newest character in the 4th book.
Yeah. So I read that one and I went, okay, now this is a happy story. It feels good. After that one, it feels good to have a happy story, welcoming a new family member. And I find it interesting that you gave your dogs your last name. Yeah, I feel it's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. So I noticed that you did, how many times have you done a Kickstarter?
So I did a Kickstarter for CHUCKIE Has a Bellyache in March 2020. So imagine how that went. I didn't know. So beginning of March, I started this, and then everyone's saying, "Oh, we're going to shut down." No, people are, panicking. So I didn't really understand that was going to happen. So I did that for that one, and then I did the Kickstarter for CHUCKIE Says Goodbye. I did a pre-order for this book for Chuckie Becomes a Big Brother, but you cannot raise money on Kickstarter if you were also planning to give to charity with some of the money. So what I did with this is I did a pre-order through my website because I wanted to give money to Cold Nose Warm Heart, New Jersey. So I raised $850 for them because they are the rescue that we have rescued our current 3 dogs from.
Okay, so talk us through the Kickstarter, because you remember when I was working on my books?
Yes.
Here they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
I was only able to get samples of the doll.
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah, I was only able to get doll samples, and I still don't have the courage to put together a Kickstarter because I think I don't know the expectations. So talk us through a Kickstarter. Talk us through pre-orders, what it does. Let's start with the Kickstarter. So if somebody was going to do a Kickstarter, what are some key things you think that a person should take into consideration before doing a Kickstarter?
So it's very similar to when you put your books on Amazon and there's 33 million books and nobody knows that your book is there. You know, you have to make sure with the Kickstarter that people know that it's happening and they're aware that people don't understand what it is. So they get scared, like, well, what is this? Who am I giving my money to? And how is this going to work? And, you know, so people, if they've never pledged on a Kickstarter, they are confused, you know, so you really want to make sure that your supporters, your backers know what a Kickstarter is and they know how it works. So for the first one, like I said, I really didn't know what I was trying, you know, I didn't understand. And the second time with Chuckie Says Goodbye, I planned ahead for months. So the whole month of August, like I said, I'm a teacher and I teach summer school in July, but the whole month of August, I was not working except on the Kickstarter. So I probably worked 40 hours a week. Because I have ADHD, I was hyper focusing. I was forgetting to eat and take breaks. I was just like zoned in, you know, I needed it to be successful. I needed this book to be published. I felt like it was so important to get that story out because parents don't want to talk to their kids about sad things. You know, they don't know what to say and kids don't know how to bring it up. So if you have this book, the kid can read it on their own or the family can read it together, you know, so I just wanted to have that out there as a resource and for teachers too, you know. So I put all these different reward levels that people could pledge, you know, a smaller amount if they wanted to get the ebook. If they wanted an autographed copy, they could just order one of those. If they wanted multiples, if they wanted to order any of my previous books or stuffed animals. And then I had the opportunity for people to pledge to have a photo of their pet added or a friend or family's pet. You know, this could be a wonderful gift for somebody else to receive, like, oh, you know, I put your pet's picture in this book, you know. And so it was really meaningful. It didn't just touch my heart and my family, but so many families, this book is important for them because they're a part of it too, you know.
So in regards to the Kickstarter, how did you go about, because when I was trying to set up, my Kickstarter profile is still there, but I haven't put all the information together because I'm going to go take a look at your Kickstarter and see what you did. So how do you do the maths for like the cost? I know that there are all these companies in China that always reach out to you on Facebook to say, and I say to them, this is the book I have, and they go, how many pages? I tell them the pages. So how do you do the maths for the books and the dolls? Because I would like to have these books and the dolls as, you know, like a box set. Really cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the problem I have is I'm scared to overprice, and then I'm also scared to underprice. So how do I find
Right. That is the story of my life. I feel like anytime I do any event, are you pricing it too high and then people won't buy it? Are you pricing it too low and then you're short selling yourself? So I just did research, like, who's successful at this? There are some authors who have done this a million times already, and they are so good at it. They have a huge following, which is something that I have been working to build over time. You get anytime I'm at an event, I get people's email addresses. Hey, I'll let you know when the next book's coming out. And it's like, great. And people sign up. And, just spreading the word on your social media pages, so that people are invested, and people don't seem to, when they know they're helping to bring this to life, I don't think they're as concerned with, well, oh, this book is $20, but that's free shipping too. Or I'm going to pay $45 and my name will be, or my kid's name will be in the back, or their picture will be in the back for another price. People have to buy in and have to be excited about what this product is, So just building your fan base, I think, is the first part. Yeah. And then making sure people understand how to do it. So you can set up your Kickstarter and make it so that no one can see it until a certain amount. So I finished my Kickstarter in August. I didn't launch it until maybe September, October. So all the time before that, you could see like Kickstarter coming on the page, and people could sign up to be notified when it launched. And so they would get an email reminder like, hey, that Kickstarter you were interested in. And the first day I was like more than halfway funded with my goal, because so many people were like, I want my pet's picture in this book. I want to make sure this book gets made,
Okay, so when you say you have their pet's picture in the book, if you're printing, I believe that if you're getting books printed from China, you send the manuscript to them. So how do you get people's pet pictures in books? Do you do like a sticker and stick it to the book, or how do you get their pets?
No, those are all printed in. So people, as soon as possible, I would say, please send me your picture. And not everyone's photography skills are the same, so I wanted to have it as soon as possible, because I love photography and I'm good at editing. So I would take someone's picture and like, this picture's too dark. I would fix the lighting so we could see each pet like as perfectly as possible. Mm-hmm. I sent it to my graphic designer and she laid it out on the pages so that it just had a nice look about it.
Okay.
And every single person that buys this book is going to see your pet in the book,
Okay. That's lovely. And then for the plushies, how did you also factor that? Because that is what I'm also still scared of. I don't know how to price it.
Yeah, so my plushies are about 7 inches tall, and you have to just see how much your plushes cost for you, whatever yours are priced at when you buy them in bulk. Because it is scary to buy. I'm buying books and plushies in bulk. I have one bedroom dedicated to just storing my books and stuffed animals. So mine are typically $12 for the toys, and usually I do $12 for the books. But if somebody is doing the Kickstarter, like I said, that includes the shipping, and I throw in bookmarks and things, so I give them a couple extra things. But it's a big leap, and the best thing you need to you can do is to make sure all the pricing ahead of time. How much is it going to cost for the books and the shipping of the books? How much will it cost for the toys? And then how much will it cost for you to have postage to send them out, and mailers? I use bubble mailers. I also advertised, and I had little postcards made with a QR code for my Kickstarter. I made a special Kickstarter link that was easy to remember. I made bumper stickers that had that link. And I thought, like, the guerrilla marketing thing where you see somebody has a bumper sticker and you're like, what's that? Like CHUCKIEbook.com. And maybe someone will click on it and see what it is, So the bookmarks, stickers, all of that, I factored all of that in. And then hopefully you meet your goal. That's the scariest part, because if you don't meet your goal on Kickstarter, you don't get any of the money.
Yeah, but it's I think I like that. I like the fact that if you don't meet your goal, you don't get the money, so everybody gets their money back.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not a problem. Nobody is saying, my money, I gave you my money and I didn't get any books in the end. So I feel, because I think that I'm still working on my Kickstarter profile. I think I'm still going to reach out to you to ask, Amy, I've done this, what do you think? Because I reached out to a couple of people, and there was an author I interviewed who also had a very successful Kickstarter, and she gave me an idea. I was saying to her that when I chatted with printers in China, getting the books printed is not a problem. Maybe each book comes down to like $2 each. The shipping is a problem. So if I print 1,000 books for, let's say, $2,000 or $4,000, it's going to cost me another almost $6,000 or $5,000 to get the books to my doorstep.
You're not using the right printer. That's not how much I pay. Yeah. So
you are in the US, and I was wondering why so expensive. Then someone said to me, she decided to source local. She lives in the US and she uses a printer in the US. So she saves on shipping costs. And
I looked into that, and the printing was $10 a book. So I felt like it was way more to do that, because I would have loved to do that. That would have been great. That would have not been my first choice,
Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, so if it's $10 a book, isn't that about the same thing as with China, because the shipping and all of that?
Not for me, no.
Oh, okay. But that's what I'm thinking of doing. Trying to figure out how to do a success, because you never know until you try. And I think I need to try it once to know what it's like, because someone said the first one they did failed and they did it again and it was successful.
Right. And I think you learn from your mistakes. I mean, my first book is called Chuckie Makes Mistakes Sometimes. And that is true. I've made so many mistakes along the way. And then I go, oh, well, I won't do it that way next time. Or now I know. But this book, it's the 5th anniversary. I published this book 5 years ago. So my goal is to get this book. I only did this on KDP. So this is a paperback, and my other books all are hardcover. And this is my bestseller. So I would love to have a 5-year anniversary edition. So that's my goal, not just to do my new Halloween book, but to also have a print run of this first book so that they're all hardcover.
Okay, that's very nice. So what do you hope for? What do you hope for your books? Where do you hope to see your books go? What do you hope your books do for people and families and pet lovers?
I just want my books to be books that kids are like, Mom, let's read that book. I want to read the Chuckie book. When I hear people say that their 18-month-old has memorized one of my books and they know all the words, or that every night their little one hugs, because these are like the perfect little size for a little kid. They sleep with their little Chuckie or their little Nestle or Bernie toys. That just makes me so like, I love that. I mean, that's why we create, right? We create to connect, so that somebody else goes, someone else understands how I feel, and all of my books are social emotional learning. And, children need to know that it's okay to make mistakes, that adults make mistakes, that if we eat too many snacks, that we're going to have a bellyache. And so we have to learn how to balance things in our life. That when you're sad, it's okay. You know, that we all go through times of sadness, and grief hits everybody in a different way, you know. And with this one, just like new beginnings, new chances. And this could be for people who are about to have a new child in their family, a baby, or they're adopting, or a new pet. And, you know, transitions and change is hard, even if it's a positive thing. You know, people also overlook pets in shelters and rescues, and they would rather go and get a brand new puppy because they think that a puppy from a breeder won't have any issues.
Yeah.
And there's so many pets that are just waiting to be loved, waiting to have a second chance. Unfortunately, in the South, in America, there are high kill shelters. You can hear my dogs barking, but 80 to 90% of pets that are brought to shelters are put down because they're overrun. You know, there's way too many people are having their pets have puppies and kitties, and they think, oh, someone will take these puppies and kitties, and they won't. They can't. There's too many. You know, so my pets have all come from the South. Bernie's from Alabama. Norvin is our chocolate lab, who's one. He's from Alabama. And Jovi, who we just got in December, she's 6 years old, and she's from Virginia. So they're constantly driving dogs up to the north, hoping that people will adopt them. So that's something I'm very passionate about. I want people to know that you can have amazing experiences by rescuing.
Yeah, I think the fear of rescue dogs, and the reason why people sometimes are reluctant to adopt them, is because many times people say they come with trauma.
Right.
Maybe they were stray dogs, maybe trauma abuse from previous owners. Because I remember I had a colleague who had gotten a rescue dog from the US, and that rescue dog was brought all the way across the border to her in I think she lives in Halifax. Yeah, so it was brought to her, and yeah, she and her daughter were excited to have the dog over, to have the dog. And she tried to get the dog used to her dad, but over that same week, it bit her dad. Yeah, it bit her dad. So she had to put the dog up, and because she didn't want to put the dog down. So what she did was she put it up on social media that she had a dog she wanted to, she was looking for a home for. And a man called her up and said, as soon as his wife saw that dog, she started to cry, that it looked like the dog they had just lost, and it had the same back, and they had a farm, so the dog could run around the farm and all of that. So she ended up giving the dog away. So I think it's because people feel that many times these dogs come with trauma from previous owners, previous life. So maybe they're afraid. Yeah.
I think that is true. I think people are afraid. So I know for the rescue that I work with, Cold Nose Warm Heart, New Jersey, they are not just bringing all the dogs up. They are looking at the people in the shelters will see a dog like Bernie, who came in at maybe like 9 months old.
Okay.
He was trained. He knew how to sit. He was such a good boy. And the owners, I don't know why they couldn't keep him. They were very distraught, though. I don't know if it was a financial issue, but he's not aggressive at all, and there was no issue like that. So they look for the ones that have the best chance. And sure, there will be issues sometimes, where they didn't realize that a dog had something that they didn't see, but they really are trying to look for the most adoptable dogs. And Bernie, he's fearful. I think he feels like maybe I'll still get abandoned again. Like I had a loving family and now that might happen. So he was in this book, we talk about how he was scared of the ceiling fan. Well, I didn't mention the ceiling fan, but he was scared when it was windy. He was scared when I opened an umbrella, and he would cry, and he would come to me, and I would comfort him. And now he knows, like, if I turn on the ceiling fan, it's okay. You know, like, he doesn't get spooked, but he really was unsure. And that will happen for the first few months of getting a new pet, because they just don't know your life and your everybody yet. They're just feeling it out.
Okay. What are some tips you can give authors who want to write pet stories?
I think you should write from what you know. Write about your own experiences, about your own pets, because that's the best. Life is the best influence for me. What can people relate to? And I think sometimes when I post something about my dogs, it's just so relatable. So many dogs do the exact same thing. They're so funny. So just kind of like really get into like their personality and write from your pet's perspective, not from your perspective.
Okay, right from your pet's perspective, not from your perspective. Okay, I never thought of that. So I would like you to read Chuckie Becomes a Big Brother.
Sure. So this just was published this year, February 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernie does have a polka dot tongue, so we put that in his.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I thought that was something you just wrote in. I've never seen a dog with that.
Yeah, I thought it was so unique, and then we took him to doggy daycare, and there's another black lab that has a polka dot tongue, and I was like, what? I thought he was going to be like so unique. Woof, my name is Chuckie with special news to share. I got a baby brother, and we make quite a pair. Chuckie was 13 years old when we adopted Bernie.
Oh, okay. Isn't that old in dog years?
Yes. Okay. At first, I wasn't certain if we would get along, but after I met Bernie, I found out I was wrong. My brother Bernie has black fur and sparkly yellow eyes. His tongue is full of polka dots, which caught me by surprise. Bernie came from far away, where he was all alone. Mom and Dad both rescued him, so now he has a home. The trip he took was long and tough. I know that he felt scared. But when he joined our family, he knew that someone cared. When Bernie first came to our home, the snow was everywhere. I taught him how to help our dad to shovel snow with care. Bert helped Bernie settle in. He showed him where to nap. Soon Bernie felt so comfy, he curled up in Mom's lap. Bert was our elderly cat. He was 18.
Oh, 18, wow.
Yeah. Bernie did not feel well when he first arrived. So Mom and Dad, they called the vet to see what she advised. That's really our vet. She comes to our house. She's amazing.
Okay.
Dr. Hill, yeah. My baby brother makes mistakes, just like I used to do. He still does not know all the rules, but I'll help to teach him too. He likes to watch how I behave. I know he always tries, but sometimes he gets frightened and whimpers when he cries. We are kind and patient to help him feel at home. He's so tiny, cute, and furry. I'll even share my bone. Bernie goes to daycare, where he loves to run and play. He always gets excited to see his friends all day. Sometimes I get jealous when Bernie grabs my toy, but if we learn to take our turn, this will bring us joy. Nestle showed me many things when I was just a pup, so I will teach my little bro the best way to grow up. Being a big brother is a special job, it's true. We are lucky to have Bernie, and we love him through and through. And then there's pictures of
So who are these
in
dogs?
here.
Because the underdog here, this isn't it a cat? Okay, those are the dogs.
Underdog is a cat. Yes.
Cat, yeah, it's a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my illustrator's cat. That's Yolana Zahaikavich's cat.
Okay.
She does all of my illustrations.
Oh, okay, wow. So how did you get photos of? Okay, welcome to the family, Bernie. So how did you get photos of the Paulson Friends of Chuckie?
So this was the pre-order. I had people fill out a Google form, and then I said on the Google form, as soon as you're done filling out, what you would like to have, like if you want 1 photo, 2 photos, 3 photos, email those photos to me right away. With the spelling of your pet's name, how you would like it. And people were really good about it because they're excited. Or they'd say, I'm going to send you 3 or 4 pictures. Can you please pick which one you think is the best? And I'm glad to do that. I'm also, for my next book, the Halloween book, I'm going to have an option for people to put their children's pets, their children's photos, or their pets' photos, or their photos, anyone in a Halloween costume. So it should be really fun.
Oh, yeah. Because from looking at the photos of these pets, I feel that pet owners are more committed to projects like this. Because if I was going to put out a book and say, oh, send me your children's pictures to put in here, people are going to be reluctant to do that.
Actually, no. Josh Becker, he has pictures of children or adults in his books. And his books, he just started his Kickstarter. I think he raised $11,000 in 24 hours.
Wow.
Josh Becker is one to watch. Check out his books. Josh Becker. Yeah.
Okay.
He does science books, Aiden and Annabelle series. And he's the master of Kickstarter as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So with pre-orders, how does pre-ordering work? Because I thought that you need to have the book ready before you set up your pre-order, or you don't need to have the book ready.
What I like to do is have the cover ready, and so you can show people what the cover will look like. A lot of times you've already written the book and the illustrations are already being made, but it's not a physical book yet, because if you don't raise the money, then how do you know if you can buy the book? So I always suggest, though, when you are going to do a hardcover or any kind of version of your book, that you get a copy, because it's important just to look at it physically and see if there's any mistakes. One time I forgot to have the title on the binding, so you don't realize that until you're looking at the book, like, oh, that's missing, So once you feel like it's in good shape and it's how you want it, then you can say, sure, print 1,000 copies. But I don't think it's a good idea. There are many people who have sad stories where there was a huge error that they didn't catch.
Yeah, because what I usually do, like the edges that you spoke about, my books don't have them. My books have African prints. So I
like that, yeah.
If you see the pattern, for the first one, it has the African pattern. And then the second one too has a pattern. Because this one is talking about African hairstyles. This one is talking about African safari. For you animal lovers, this one is all kinds of animals. Yeah. So yeah.
Are those hardcovers?
Yeah, so I got them done with Ingram Spark.
Ingram Spark, I don't know if Ingram Spark allows you to put it on the edge like that. I don't know if you can. Maybe you can. But I don't remember mine having it.
Yeah, maybe you can because you just upload it. But I think for me, it was just a preference, because I wanted a situation where if I have the books on the shelf, just by looking at the pattern, I can tell which is which.
Right.
Yeah. And the illustrator did. Yeah, he did a good job. he did a good job with with the animals. I'll just show you the giraffes interacting with kids. Yeah, so he did a good job. So those are the giraffes, and those are the kids.
So cute.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know about the safaris and animals that are indigenous to the African continent. So yeah, so that's why I decided to put this together. And then in regards to hair, a lot of people too, when they talk about black hair, they don't understand a lot. So yeah, so that's why I feel that I want to do a Kickstarter, because I feel that this book needs to go far and wide. But because I don't know much about, I think it's just me, I'm just skeptical. So yeah,
it's just scary. It's scary because you want it to be. I hate trying to do anything and thinking I might fail at it. Yeah. I don't like that idea. So, you could always do a Kickstarter for a little less than you actually need, so that you can hopefully reach the goal. And sometimes, people's Kickstarters, people keep pledging because they're so invested. So even though you already reached your goal, there's still 2 weeks left and people still keep ordering. And if they know about it and you keep posting and people are aware and the right communities are hearing about it, there's a lot of people who love dogs, but they don't necessarily have kids, so some people that don't have kids still buy my books. I'll tell you, some people just love the books and they keep them for themselves because they're a fan of my dogs. They love Chuckie, they love Bernie. Okay. So there's that. But if you could find a group of people who have little kids and they really need this kind of book, that's where your best bet is.
Okay. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because yeah, and I like that the end notes you put all of this. Yeah. So people could go scan, people could follow, and
right. Yeah. I love that, people have the book and then they go, oh, let's watch videos of these doggies that are in the book. Let's see what they're up to today. Okay. And also to go to Cold Nose. Maybe somebody will want to adopt or just donate because they were so inspired by the story.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's beautiful. From your book, I have learned that apart from representation of human relationships in books, pet relationships too, it's good to tell stories about pet relationships because we take a lot for granted. Yeah. I remember the first time, I think that was when I was doing my postgrad. I had gone to work and this lady didn't show up, and I was wondering why she didn't show up, and I was told her cat died. So I went, okay, so why isn't she at work? And they said, it's her pet. Oh, and I went, oh, that's true. People actually build very strong bonds with their pets, and those pets are almost like family. They're family, not almost like.
They are, yes. Yeah, and sometimes a loss of a pet is harder than the loss of a human, because some people have connected so strongly to their pet that's the closest relationship they have.
Yeah. I wish we could see your pets. I would love to see them. If you let them.
I can try. Yeah, let me try to get them come in here.
We want to see them.
It's gonna be crazy. We'll try. Come here. Come here.
Okay.
Bernie, come here.
Oh wow. Okay. So this is Bernie.
That's Bernie. And this is Norvin over here. And
Norvin.
This is Joey.
Okay.
Oh, Norvin, wow. Come here. Come here, Norvin. Roger, come here. Hi, it's Louisa.
Hi. Yeah, so I see you all the time on Facebook. I feel I already know you. Because sometimes I see photos. Yeah. Sometimes I see you in shorts.
That was last night. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I see you lying on the couch. Yeah, and then I saw this one last night, and I laughed. It was hilarious. The one with the shirt.
I went I went to the farm to get eggs. And,
Okay.
The
Sticker got
came
on
off,
his shirt.
Yeah. So anyway, it's nice to meet you. I just wanted to say, I said to Amy, I feel I already know you. So I just
a lot. You're not the only one who has said that. I have a digital presence.
Oh wow, yeah. Because sometimes I see pictures and I go, "Oh, poor Roger, what's he doing today?"
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, you're most welcome. Nice to meet you. All right, so Amy Jensen, I would like to say a very big thank you to you for making our time to join us on the Melanin Jali Project podcast. The reason why I call this the Melanin Jali Project, for people who don't know, melanin is forever, but the Jali is a storyteller in ancient Timbuktu. So that was back in the day on the African continent, before we started putting things in books. There would be that storyteller in a family who would tell stories, and then somebody else would keep telling the stories and all of that in families. So that's.
And would somebody play a drum also while they were telling the story? Because I'm a music teacher, so I know that rap kind of developed from that old storytelling culture.
So it's still, sometimes there'll be poetry, sometimes there'll be music. So sometimes when you see pictures of Jalis, you see them with something like a banjo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like an African, but you always see them with an instrument. Yeah, so that's the reason why I put together this podcast, just to talk to authors about their books, their publishing journey, and also to get tips to give tips to other aspiring authors too.
Right. It's so important because so many authors have helped me, so I just want to pay it forward.
Yeah, that's so kind of you. I'm grateful for all the tips you've given me so far. I'm grateful for the fact that anytime I reach out to you, you respond. So yes. So thank you so much, Amy. Thank you. And have a nice morning with your friend.
Yes, thank you.
Right, take care. Bye-bye.